The idea of being raised by animals was the inspiration for movies like Tarzan and Mowgli. And while these movies are lighthearted and fun to watch, it's always heartbreaking whenever a real-life case of a feral child is discovered. Getting abandoned by your parents and growing up with animals was the sad reality for the children of whose stories we will share with you. Today, we've compiled a list of 10 children who were raised by animals. You'll definitely be shocked to hear the story of the boy who was raised by ostriches, so stick around to find out more about him. Before we start, be sure to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell below to be notified whenever we post a new video. Okay, let's begin. Number 10. Andes Goat Boy. Starting off on our list, we have Andes Goat Boy at number 10. There's a lot of mystery that surrounds the Goat Boy, including the story of how he was abandoned or who his family was. But when he was found in 1990 in the Andes Mountains, his rescuers were shocked to see him living among the goats. He survived by drinking their milk and eating berries found in the mountains. He used his 4 limbs to safely and easily move around the rocky hills. Having lived a life so long with absolutely no human contact, his communication skills were non-existent. Number 9 is Ivan Mishokov. Up next on our list, we have the story of Ivan Mishokov. Born in the 90s in Rutov, Russia, Ivan Mishokov had a very rough childhood. From a poverty-stricken home to his mother's alcoholic boyfriend, he had no option but to flee his home. Mishokov wandered away from his family at just the age of 14. Living on the streets in Russia's cold weather proved to be incredibly difficult. He noticed a pack of wild dogs that were roaming the streets and soon learned by giving them scraps of food, they would protect him and keep him warm during the cold nights. He soon gained the trust of the wild dogs, and after a couple of months, he became the pack leader. Mishokov was captured 2 years later by the police. He had to relearn how to be a human again after living with dogs for so long. Number 8. The Dog Boy of Chile. The story of the Dog Boy of Chile is another story that involves child neglect. The boy who remains unnamed was thrown out by his abusive parents at the young age of 5. He was taken to a child care facility and he ran away and managed to survive in the streets for 2 whole years. During those years, he lived with a cave with a pack of dogs. To find food, he relied on eating leftovers from trash cans, and child care workers even believed that he might have eaten milk from nursing dogs within the pack. The dog pack was his family, so when he was captured and taken to the hospital, he was extremely hostile and had aggressive tendencies towards humans. Number 7 is Marcos Rodriguez Pantoja. Marcos Rodriguez Pantoja, born in Spain, suffered from the abuse of the hands of his stepmother for years. At the age of 7, after years of inhumane abuse, he was sold to a landowner as a slave. He was later abandoned again and was left to fend for himself in the wild. He was raised by wolves who soon saw him as one of their own. They protected and sheltered him for 11 years until he was found. Living in a complete isolation in the company of wolves for more than a decade has caused him to act like them. He howled and bit his rescuers as they attempt to rescue him. He had to be bound and gagged to be taken to the hospital. On number 6 is Oksana Malaya. At the mere age of 3 years old, Ukrainian Oksana Malaya was left outside by her negligent alcoholic parents. The little girl crawled into the dog kennel in search of warmth and food, and she lived among the dogs for 5 years. It wasn't until one of the neighbors noticed her and notified the authorities that she was found. By that time, she had lost the ability to act and speak like humans and was running on all 4 limbs. She was taught how to walk and communicate like humans, and now, in her late 30s, Malaya lives in a home for the mentally disabled after integrating with society. Number 5 is Dina Sanichar. We have the true story of the boy who was an inspiration for the movie Mowgli next up on the list. There isn't much known about his life before he was discovered, but one thing was for certain was that he was raised by wolves. In 1872, a group of hunters in the Uttar Pradesh discovered a mysterious boy living in the jungles with wolves in a cave. They captured the boy after having killed the wolves and brought him to an orphanage. He was given the name Sanichar, which translates to Saturday in Urdu. The orphanage workers tried to teach him how to speak or communicate, but they failed to do so. He struggled to act like humans and only made animal noises. Number 4 is Kamala and Amala. Perhaps one of the famous cases on our list, this is the story of Kamala and Amala. 2 young girls who were estimated to be around the age of 11 were found by Reverend J.A.L. Singh, who has noticed a she-wolf with the 2 human girls among her cubs. The 2 girls had extremely matted hair and walked on all 4s. They howled at the night like wolves and bared their teeth at humans. They also had wolf-like traits like an increased sense of smell and hearing. After becoming seriously ill, the younger girl passed away almost a year after their rescue, however. Number 3 is the Ugandan monkey boy. The monkey boy, whose real name was John Sezimbunya, lived in a village in Uganda. His father was extremely abusive and violent, and he was just a toddler when he witnessed him kill his mother. Sesebunya sought refuge in the forest miles away from his father, and he stumbled across a group of green African monkeys, who fed and protected him. Number 2 on our list is Chicken Boy. Sujit Jumar, nicknamed the Chicken Boy of Fiji, was born with cerebral palsy and epilepsy. At a young age, he lost his mother to suicide. His father, believing that Jumar was mentally disabled, locked him up with the chickens. After spending several years with the chickens and fowls, he was found in the middle of the road, flapping in distress. He was rescued and committed to the Sambula Old People's Home, where he was kept for 20 years. And lastly, but not the leastly, on our list is the Ostrich Boy. Whenever you hear about the story of a feral child being raised by animals, you would think that he was raised by monkeys or dogs. Well, the story of Hadara, who is nicknamed the Ostrich Boy, defies all logic and reason. When Hadara was just a young boy, he got lost from his family in the Sahara Desert. The odds of surviving in the desert as an adult were next to nothing. So for a 2-year-old boy to survive alone in the scorching hot desert and live to tell his story is nothing short of a miracle. Hadara's survival can be attributed to a group of ostriches that took the young boy under their wings, literally and figuratively. He lived with them for 10 whole years before he was rescued at the age of 12. He was taken back to live with his family after his rescue. He later remarried and had children who lived to tell the incredible story of their father to the world. And that's a wrap for today's video of the 10 children who were raised by animals. Which story surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one. Goodbye.